Good morning, this is Elite Currency. My name is Chris, and today's focus again on the euro dollar and pound dollar. A bit choppy. Let's see if there's some movement expected in the last 2 days of this week. Let's kick off with the euro dollar 4-hour chart. You can see that, of course, we had a big break here, big momentum to the downside, a very substantial bear flag, of course, as discussed in the previous videos, and then a break of that bear flag plus another break of a smaller triangle, but recently a little bit of an up retracement or zigzag, bullish zigzag basically here on the 1-hour chart. You can see that perhaps a little bit better right there. As you can see, a bit of a bullish momentum at the end of yesterday, and then some correction, and now finding its third leg up. This could be an ABC correction, and we are seeing on the 4-hour chart here so far a big 4-hour candle, right, with a big wick at the top, indicating perhaps a bearish rejection. All right, this candle has about a few hours left. I think it was just very quickly calculated. I do believe maybe 2 hours left or so. But anyhow, if it does close this candle as it is now, that would be a pretty important signal that the upside is not finding any particular strength and the bears are still in control, and this support trend line could break, and a continuation down to the main target in around 115.25 to 114.75 could still occur. All right, so we had a choppy week so far. We had some good downside continuation at the beginning of the week, then just a correction after that. Let's see if we get the continuation in the last 2 days. All right, this 4-hour candle would help. I mean, looking at the daily chart, we see kind of more indecision candles since Friday's candle here and Thursday's candle here, but I think with a good break below this triangle, there's a decent chance of a continuation. The entire week has been quite choppy, so aiming at a closer target would not hurt. Aiming at double bottom would not be a bad thing necessarily as a first target, and then trying to see if it can continue towards lower targets like this minus 272 target and the minus 61.8 target, just because the market is a little bit choppy, a little bit corrective, and things don't really move as far as they have 2 weeks ago and even last week. But that could change. It doesn't have to stay this, necessarily today and tomorrow. So let's see if we get this triangle break, and if indeed this ABC is completed, we should get the break and continue to the downside on the euro dollar. If we do break above 61.8 fib and long-term moving average, then I'm a little bit concerned for the bears, because in that case, in this case, then price is not trending down as much anymore. I think that if it goes up that high, it could still be a retracement, but then I would actually think that this could be just a big correction like this. And in that case, price might go higher, excuse me, and might retest resistance at 116.75, for instance, 116.60. So I would be a bit concerned about the downside if it does break above 116.25, and there could be scope for a bigger correction up to this resistance, which in my view would still then be a resistance zone to watch out for, and it could still continue lower from that spot. So either it's a breakout basically, or if it does push higher, I'll be looking for a turn at a higher spot. All in all, I'm still bearish, unless really price breaks above 117 probably. Then I would reevaluate the euro dollar, and in that case, I'm not bearish anymore. Would have to see again what the situation is. But for the moment, bearish here, the breakout, and from here. If we do get the breakout, then the target, as I said, 115. There's a reason for that. Once again, it's a 38.2 fib. I've been repeating that already in many videos, but just in case you're listening for the first time, the 38.2 fib is a bouncing spot, just like price bounced at the 23.6 fib. It could do so at the 38.2 fib. Actually, I'm looking for daily engulfing twins there, or some daily candlestick pattern at support for a potential swing trade up to even 122.50, up to the minus 272 target at 125. That's what could happen. If price does break below the 38.2 fib with a daily candle below it, then of course, yes, price might continue with this downtrend, and the next target is the 50 fib at 113. Let's take a look now at the pound dollar. Pound dollar remains choppy. Look at this up and down yesterday, this week, last weeks, in fact, all the way since the beginning of October has been basically a roller coaster. And basically, If you look at the current setup, I think it is still quite difficult to trade the pound dollar at this moment. It is making kind of an ABC, then another ABC. It might break another ABC like this. So a little bit tricky environment, generally speaking. And you can see that we had a big pull here and making a correction. So that still may be the number one factor at this moment, is that this momentum and correction, and that this could be finished correction here with an ABC like this. So that is something that could pan out, could play out on the pound dollar. For that really to happen, there are two scenarios. One is just a break of this correction, if it is a correction, right? If it does break that correction, we might see a continuation down to retest this bottom again around 130.75, if I remember correctly. Let's take a look. Well, approximately 130.70 indeed. Another one would be if price starts to break this support trend line, which is actually more visible on the daily chart, right? For that to break, we really need a daily candle to break through that support trend line like this. So if we get that today, or tomorrow or next week, right, then there could be a breakout continuation on this pound dollar. If it doesn't happen by the end of next week, then probably it's just making a bounce rather than a breakout, and it could make a rally again to the upside. So for the next, well, today, tomorrow, and maybe Monday, Tuesday, I would be looking for that bearish candle like this, daily candle. That would be a confirmation on the daily chart. On the 4-hour chart, we really cannot see too much. This on a 4-hour chart, we might wait for the break, a flag, and the break of that flag would also be an interesting setup, of course, but that might take some time. Also, this bearish 4-hour candle could be an indication of a bounce. However, considering the entire correction here, I'm not sure how basically interesting that is. I think the daily candle is the best, but for more aggressive traders, a break of this 1-hour flag might be something of an intraday trade, just like basically this 1-hour setup here, or earlier here as it broke those support levels or broke this resistance level. So you might have some smaller breakouts, but really the daily chart is the confirmation. All right, thanks for joining. Take a look at elitecurrency.com for more free analysis and free material. And of course, wish you all good trading. Talk to you soon. Cheers.